I see people like saying this thing about lowering their standards, not having boundaries, allowing people to cross those boundaries and things like that. It's not about what you say, it's about how you are, who you are. Feminine energy likes to be full, needs to be full, has to be full. And then we give from overflow. And one guy straight up told me, he was like, now I think that I can, date you because you seem like you don't need the finer things in life. You don't need this and you don't need that. I'm like, yes, I do. You got me twisted. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I want to talk about why you need to be full of yourself. If you're interested in a video like that, please keep watching. So you guys, welcome back to the channel. So like I said, in this video, I want to talk about why it's important to be full of yourself. You know, I hear this a lot, and we as a society has said that it is a negative thing to be full of yourself. And I don't agree, and I'm going to tell you why. And I'm going to tell you also why you need to be full of yourself. You know, this is inspired by a post that I saw, and the lady was saying that somebody said that, oh, you're so full of yourself because you posted a picture of yourself. And I found that interesting. And she talked about why she is totally full of herself. And I thought it was a really great read. Initially, I had heard of this concept through Oprah, and Oprah was talking about what it feels like and what it means to her to be full of yourself. And I think it's so important to be full of yourself. And I think that, it is on purpose that it is kind of looked down upon, that you shouldn't be full of yourself, that you're fed this, don't be full of yourself. But at the end of the day, like, who wants to be empty? Like, why would you want to be empty of yourself? That doesn't even make sense. So obviously we want to be full of ourselves, and we can give from our overflow. It's almost as if society wants us to be empty and come and give from emptiness, or give away what we have left to be empty. And you got to think, why do people want us to be empty? Why do people want us to feel empty, depleted, and deprived, right? So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. I think that's important to look at. I did a video on the concept of stop looking at yourself as the girl next door and being average, and how people want you to be relatable. They want you to be like, okay, you need to be humble. And so they know where to, so they can afford you, really. I shared a story where when I was dating, that I had got to a point where I was like sharing more pictures of me without makeup and hiking and things like that, so I can be relatable. So I seemed average and the girl next door and things like that. And then I noticed people started placing me in this category where they thought they could treat me below average. They thought they could treat me a certain way. And one guy straight up told me, he was like, now I think that I can, date you because you seem like you don't need the finer things in life, and you don't need this and you don't need that. I'm like, yes, I do. You got me twisted. But that's what I want to talk about, because I think it's really important to talk about, because like this whole like depleting and being deprived and not being full of yourself, one is just not a good way to live. And I want to talk about it in from a manifesting standpoint too. But I really wanted to get on this video, or make a video, because I am running a sale on Manifesting Made Basic, the audio version. If you're interested in that, I have a special birthday discount. So message me if you're interested in that workshop. Because my birthday is Tuesday, and so the discount will be working up until my birthday on Tuesday. So it's a special birthday discount, Taurus in the house. So if you're interested in checking that out, definitely message me and I can get that over to you. So, being full of yourself. I want to talk about why it's looked at as a bad thing, um, and where the distinction is between being full of yourself and being arrogant. So, being full of yourself is really being confident and having confidence in who you are, knowing who you are, knowing what your values are, knowing what your standards are, knowing what your boundaries are. That is confidence. And that is being full of yourself, right? Arrogance, on the other hand, is a slight distinction. Not really, not a slight distinction. It's just arrogance is like a comparison to others. It's putting yourself above others, or putting people beneath you. So it's a superior inferior type of relationship, whereas full of yourself is having confidence in yourself. It's not comparing yourself to anyone, it's just being full of yourself and being confident in who you are. So being full of yourself is an amazing thing, especially when it comes to navigating your way through life and knowing what your values are, knowing what your standards are, and holding to that. Now, I've shared so many videos on this channel about the importance of holding your standards, your boundaries, your values, because what that essentially is holding to the vision, holding to that version of you. So when you hold your standards, when you're engaging with life, when you're engaging with other people, relating to other people and relating to life, holding to that vision, holding to those standards are so important, because again, I can't say enough where I see people like saying this thing about lowering their standards, not having boundaries, allowing people to cross those boundaries and things like that. It's not about what you say, it's about how you are, who you are. Who you are. That is so important. It's embodiment, right? It's that version of yourself. And so I often go off on tangents, especially when it comes to boundaries and standards. It's so important. This People will throw around this "you're full of yourself" thing because they want you to lower your standards. They want to cross those boundaries with you. That's a test, really. At the end of the day, it's a test. So when you're full of yourself, you know these things. You know what your standards are, and you know how to hold them. And that, my friends, is going to help navigate you through life and manifest, because when it comes to like in the last video I talked about, when it comes to manifesting, if you're manifesting like a relationship, especially like a relationship or something like that, it's not about the version of that person. It's not just about that version of that person. It's about the version of that, who you will be. Who will you show up as? You know, being grounded in yourself is so important. And so being grounded means holding your standards, holding your boundaries, holding to that version of yourself, the vision, however you want to say it, it's holding to that. You have to ground yourself in you. And so when it comes to manifesting anything, whether it's a person, a relationship, stuff, whatever, who will you be? What version of you has that thing? And you have to be full of yourself to have that thing. Okay? You have to be full of yourself, because being full of yourself is knowing who that version is. Having standards, having boundaries, and holding to the vision, having a vision, all of these things. Being full of yourself is so important, because when you're empty, when you lowered your standards and you're empty, that's when you are just being pulled by that person, this person, that situation, and that circumstance. Okay? It's harder to move someone when they're full. It's harder to move someone when they're full. But when they're empty, it's easier. It's easier. It's easier because they've lowered their standards and they're being pulled in all sorts of directions. You are no longer the creator and the director of your life. Being full of yourself is so important. People don't want you to be full of yourself. That's why they act like it's a negative thing, because they want you to bend to their will. Now, when it comes to like spiritual thing, the whole bending to the will of other people, really, I liken it to like, spiritual warfare, as they say. The angel and the devil on the shoulders, like, right? The angel and the devil. And the angel is you, right? It's righteous thought. It's like your intentions and being full of yourself and having your standards, your values, and holding to that. The devil, on the other hand, is you being empty and not knowing and just being pulled in all sorts of directions. Not knowing that you are that powerful. Being full of yourself is your standards, is your vision, it's holding to those things, and it's a beautiful, amazing thing. Not a bad thing. That's why you need to be full of yourself. So being full of yourself is being strong, being confident, being articulate, all of these things. Being able to communicate effectively, that's being full of yourself. And it's amazing. It's not a bad thing. Arrogance is a different thing. They want to say it's the same thing. It's not the same thing. You want to be full of yourself. I am full of myself. I love myself. It's an amazing feeling. Being full, especially as a feminine energy being, is amazing. Like, we desire to be full. The masculine, on the other hand, desires to be empty. That's going to be, I guess that could be another video, but masculine energy desires to be empty. That's why they're into doing, exerting, and releasing, if you know what I mean. Releasing. They want to be empty. Feminine energy, on the other hand, wants to be full. Desires to be full. And again, I've said this in a lot of my videos. The feminine energy is what holds the standards. It's what holds the boundaries. And the masculine rises to meet those standards and those values. And that's why it's important for you to hold to your standards, your values, your boundaries, your vision, your dreams, these things, your desires, all of these things. Hold to those. Hold to that, and people, the right people, will meet you there. Or so that's you becoming that version in which that version of that person will show up. I hope that makes sense. That version will show up, and when you hold to your standards and your values and your desires, okay, that is being full of yourself. The feminine desires to be full. The feminine is full and gives from overflow. That's why often women experience burnout, exhaustion, not feeling fulfilled, these things, because they are giving from an empty cup and not overflow. And that's why it's so important for you to be full of yourself and confident of yourself, having values and standards. That's why. So being full of yourself is a beautiful, amazing thing, and that's why you need to be full of yourself. And full of yourself also means, what does it mean? Whole. And full of yourself also means whole, being whole. We talk about being a whole person, especially when it comes to power coupling. I've talked about on this channel power coupling in a relationship with masculine energy is, having standards, boundaries, knowing who you are, and being grounded in who you are. And that's your standards, your values, your desires and things like that. That's being whole. And so that's why it's so important for you to be full of yourself. Feminine energy likes to be full, needs to be full, has to be full. And then we give from overflow. So I just wanted to share that real quick. I wanted to do a video and I wanted to share that because it was on my mind. I hope the lighting is okay. It is kind of a rainy day, and so the lighting is not the best. But I did want to share that. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. I do videos on manifesting feminine energy, parallel realities, that kind of thing. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, I think you'll like it here. So definitely subscribe, and I will check you guys in the next video. Peace.